Hello everyone, Zelrinth here, and today we're going to take a look at my thoughts on whether or not you should pull Pamina. Now, I think a lot of people already know my thoughts. I think it's very similar to what I've seen with other content creators and theirs, what they're saying. I think she's a really good character, but I think she is a skip, especially for those who are looking to get your meta level characters, because we actually know who is coming after her as well as the next two banners. And the next two banners are very, very good pickups with alternate Sophia, who's kind of got that really good support level unit for your team. And then you have Convallaria, who is a very, very big damage dealing unit that is going to be, like, I think pretty much everybody's saying he's must pull. Being DPS, I wouldn't say must pull, but he is extremely good when you take a look at everything he can do within his kit. Now, when it comes to Panama, she is good as well, especially with her weapon. The big thing about her kit, and I'm going to put it the video I did on her in the description if you want to see my in-depth look at all her skills. We're not going to do that here. I'm just kind of talking about her in general use. But a lot of it is that she can take... She's basically like a breaker tank to an extent, where she's going to be taking the hits to deal to counterattack and deal damage back. When you kind of look at her main trait here, so at 1 star... ignores, she's able to ignore block. I mean, that's a breaker type unit thing. Increases her defense, adds 20% of defense to attack, so her defense increases her attack, which is always good. And then when she gets into the battle, she has this buff called Unyielding Heroine, which makes it where she counterattacks anybody that attacks within 2 tiles, 90% physical AoE damage, which includes doing some lifesteal. And the more enemies it hit, slightly reduces the damage, so you're not getting the full damage on all of the enemies if you hit multiple. But, I mean, it is a harder hitting attack if it's only hitting 1 than versus, like, 2 or 3. But, I mean, if you have a ton of them around you, it's going to be really good. So she can do big clears if she can just get out into the enemy's area and get attacked. And then she has skills all built around that. Like, you have the big one, like, where she can taunt them, which then gives her some defense, gives her parry, gives her a bunch of great stuff there. And kind of, you got that kind of thing, like, all throughout our kit. And so she is she's different in the breaker standpoint of things. She's not like August. So you can't say she's a replacement to August or someone when it comes to the breaking. She is in her own realm in that capacity, so she is different to that. But right now, based on what we're coming up next, she doesn't do anything dramatically above and beyond that. I mean, with August, you're just offensive. You go on the offense rather than with Pamina, where you're just going to put her there, get her out there, do some hits with her, and then when she gets attacked, she's going to do some big counters to the enemies as well. And that's how she kind of does her damage. And then her weapon is really what kind of makes her stand out and do the more damage. It's like, if you're going to get her, I mean, the weapon really helps with it as well. But the one big thing with the weapon is, to me, it's not as outstanding. Like, right now, the shield I find to be a really good signature trinket. I mean, it's a trinket's another thing. Trinkets, I find, are going to be better when they're signatures versus weapons anyway, because weapons are so much easier to get, at least your basic legendaries. But her weapon here is nothing too crazy. I mean, it gives you that crit and attack by 10%. And then the biggest thing on it is the using a non-instant skill to attack resets the cooldown of it. And if you have it at 5 stars, it has a cooldown of 3. So every 3 turns, you can effectively have a skill that you can use twice in a row. At 1 star, it's basically, to me, like a one-time deal, because it's a 7-turn cooldown. I could see this having maybe some value on other users. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I do. This is kind of a generic weapon in that capacity, but it is designed specifically around hers. Maybe, I mean, some of these skills would be good ones to use it with. Like, I really like this top one here, one of her first ones, just because you can taunt and get someone to attack you and be able to, like, put that out there and keep them on you. And with their AoE makes it really good, as well as some of these others. It's just, the biggest thing is right now we have 2 big units coming up. And I know a lot of people probably, at this point, we've pulled on enough characters, which myself included, that a lot of people are probably starting to get to that, where they're at that 2% average. Like, some people got really, really lucky in the beginning, like I did, and then I finally got the bad luck and got to a 180 pulls. So I think a lot of people are probably low on pulls at this point. I mean, we had Tristan, which was a really good pickup for a lot of people. And I think the best of these last three was Tristan. Then you had Terra before that. I mean, and then you had all the big whammies of Sophia and Auguste. So right now, I think especially your free to plays are really, really low on polls. And when you look at what's coming up, that we have an opportunity coming up to start saving, which is going to be good. But the units that you want of the next two units are really good pickups, with Sophia being a really good support, Convallaria being a really good damage dealer. After that, it becomes, to me, a point where you can save. The entire mage expansion, I think all of those units, and I've seen others say this as well. Now, I have not gone through all of their kits yet, but I have glanced over them, and none of them seem anything extraordinarily must-pull type units in the mages. And to me, that's going to be the time to save, because after this expansion, we have a lot of big units. And I'd say even a lot of units that I think are cool in general, even if they're not the meta. But you have the one brother, he's really, really good. You have eventually the alternate Inanna, which is the super, like, she's just breaks the game again. She's basically a combination of Inanna and, or basically a combination of her normal self and Gloria, and basically power creeps both of them. She's going to be a big pickup. I think there's another unit that's not shown. Oh no, Aisha, I think, is another good pickup here. Don't know much about Avare and Natia here. From what I've seen, though, they're easier skips. But we do have a bunch of big pickups coming up then. And so it's kind of, I mean, if you're a meta player, you just skip Pamina for now and then just get Alt Sophia, Convallaria, skip the whole mage expansion so you can save up a lot of pulls, get him, get her, then eventually get alternate Inanna, and then from there, who knows at that point. But I think if we keep the same pace CN has had, it's very easy for your light spenders, free to plays, to actually get a majority of what they would consider the must pulls / the best pulls. And I think you can maybe sneak one character maybe in, depending on your luck, of this whole group. And so with that, that's kind of why my opinion right now, though, is to just skip Pamina, unless she's a character you like. Like, I think you should pick a character you like of that group of skippables. Because, I mean, it's not all about meta in this game. You get plenty of pulls. You can do pretty much all the content if you put the effort in, if you have a good, solid team, which I think just about everybody should have at this point. But I do think we do have, if we follow CN, who knows, they could change it up. But if we follow CN's path, skipping Pamina sets you up in good position to pretty much get all the good units coming up if you still have pulls left over. Now, if you have no pulls right now, you've got minimal time to save up for both Alt Sophia and Convallaria, and in that case, it's going to be a tough decision on who to pull for. And in that case, Convallaria is the better one to pull for, because Alt Sophia, while a support, she's not a Terra and Coco level support. But Convallaria is that big, huge next DPS that's coming up. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I mean, I like the character. I mean, I've liked pretty much all the characters in this game. There's very few that I've been like, they really suck. And it's been most of the ones that we started with at the beginning of the game. But she's really good. It's just she's not necessary. Doesn't bring anything extra special. The one thing I'd like to see on characters like her that could set them up, like, there's a reason I believe it's Nono will, and that's because she has vulnerability 3. Well, Panama only has vulnerable 2. Like, if this was vulnerable 3 on this, or she had something that you really don't see on any other units, or something that could really make her that extra one that stands out, it makes it a little bit more of a, hey, I'll throw 30 pulls to see if I can get lucky type deal. But there's nothing in here that screams that makes her stand out. She does have a different gameplay than I think most of our characters have. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, especially the ones that I don't own. But she is unique in that certain capacity, being a breaker that is very has a defensive attacking capabilities. But it's just not necessary compared to what we already currently have, and there's just better units coming up next. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on Pamina. I will not be polling for her. I know we do have some other events and stuff coming up. I'm kind of looking at the big thing is this one. That's going to be from what I understand, it's a vote thing. that I'll participate in that one. I think we already pretty much know who's going to win this. We'll have to see. I could be wrong, but I think Sophia is just going to win this one hands down. She seems to be the most popular character of the group, but then again, maybe the story changed people's minds with the Night Crimson. We'll have to see there. But I don't know if I'll be streaming it or not. I've been kind of rushing the story real quick because I was so far behind in the event. I pretty much had to rush it to get that event stuff done on it. But we'll kind of have to see from there. But like I said in the past, when it comes to going through the other characters' kits here, I'm kind of waiting till we get closer to their actual expansion. So probably right around when Convallaria is coming out, we'll probably have the better translations than this, and then I'll start going through their kits to prepare for their expansion, and then so that I can also give better thoughts on them. And the one reason I want to do that too is because, like right now with Pamina, I went over her kit, I don't even know, like a month and a half or 2 months ago. And so I don't even remember, I had to go through it again real quick to kind of get a general understanding of her again. And I think it'll be better doing the kits, like, once they're closer, just so I can have, I can give a better idea of what I think on regarding pulling them or not. Now, the mages, I'm pretty sure I'm going to say they're all going to be easier skips for most people unless they're like your favorite character. And that's just because the big hits are coming after it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.